Hello, welcome back to the Eternian Stories channel, where today I want to talk in more detail about my plans for NaNoWriMo. This year I'm going a little ambitious, and I'm going to be trying to write double the amount you'd usually do for a classic NaNoWriMo in November. So usually you try to write 50,000 words in the 30 days of November, which is the length of a novel. But I've been writing the same novel for about 6 years now, so I'm going to be a rebel as I have been for every year. But to make it a little bit more challenging for myself, since I'm going to be rewriting and editing a lot of what I've written over the last 6 years to make the story more cohesive and make, better descriptions, things like that. I'm going to try to write 100,000 words. Do I have super high hopes that I'll make it that far? No, not really. But that is my official goal for NaNoWriMo. So, probably going to hit that 50,000 pretty quick. Or it's going to take me the whole month to write even 50,000. We'll see what happens. But since I'm rewriting so much, and I'll be able to write faster because I'm just rewriting words I've already written, I think I'll be able to write more. And with writing every single day of the month, I think I'll be able to write more. And for NaNoWriMo, and why I've been trying to write as much as I can of the sections I've already written before, was to be able to see the sections that haven't been written yet as I go, and where they are, and how they need to be written, like what part of the story they're in. So I've been trying to write as many of the sections that I've already written as possible, so I can see where all the red ones are, and the yellow ones, because there are a lot of yellow ones now. The yellow ones are the ones I'm working on, the red ones have not even been started. So that's why I've been trying in October to write as much of the story as I can that's already been written, that's in the manuscript down there. Because I want to know where the red sections are. But I'm going to start at the beginning for NaNoWriMo and go through all the sections I've been skipping, the red ones and the yellow ones that I have so far, and making outlines for each of them if they don't have one, which most of them do not have in-depth outlines. I think like maybe a couple at the beginning do, because I tried to do that before and I just wasn't having it. So I'll make outlines for them, and then I'll write the actual section for each of them. So in doing that, my outline words are going to count towards my goal too, because those will be words I've written that would be new to the story. So with that, I have a lot of bullet journal spreads that I set up too. Like there's a bunch in here for my November spreads. Normally I don't have this many spreads in my notebook, but I did add a lot more just to help keep me on track and stuff. So I am going to head over to the desk and show you guys a top-down view, kind of like the bullet journal videos I make, just to show you all the spreads that I've added for November to help me make it through NaNoWriMo, because it's difficult enough to write 50,000 words. I had to think about that. I'm trying to write 100,000. So it's going to be a lot more difficult, but I kind of feel like I can make it almost there, if not there already. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to go over to the table so I can show you those spreads I made. And hopefully they'll help you guys too. Okay, so now I want to bring you over to the table to show you the spreads I'm going to be using for NaNoWriMo. I did mention them in my bullet journal setup video just because they're part of the setup, but I'll go into more detail about them now as we look through them. Alright, so the first spread that I want to look at is the word count tracker. So the word count tracker, it has gray lines here for how much you need to make it, to write 1,667 words every day. So that's there just as a baseline for me. But my plan is to write double that, so then I can get to 100,000 words instead of 50,000 down here. Because a lot of the words I'm going to be writing are going to be words that have already been written, so I'm just refining them, working on them, adding more detail where I can, taking out some of the things that don't necessarily need to be there. So then over here is going to be the rewards that I choose to have for myself for every 10,000 words, I think. And I think at 50 and 100, I'll probably have some pretty decent rewards. Maybe I'll get myself a book or something for writing that many words. But the word count tracker is kind of the same as the one that I usually use. The numbers on the sides are just a little bit different because of how NaNoWriMo works. And then the next ones are going to be my word sprinting trackers. There are 4 pages of them with 2 separate sets on each page. So there's 8 sets of them, which comes out to having enough for 10 for each day, like 10 sprints for each day. But maybe some days I'll have less or more. It doesn't really matter. And if I do run out of space, which I doubt it, there's so much room here. There's so much room. If I do run out of space, I'll just add more later in the month because I do plan to use word sprinting to help me write as many words as I can. And word sprinting over the last month I've seen really helps me a lot. So these are going to be very important to me. And then the next one I have is back here. It looks kind of boring right now. There's like no color in it. But this is the sections tracker. It's a 3x5 grid. And so there's 2 of them. So there's enough for 30 sections. And I only plan on working on about 1 section per day. But like a lot of the other spreads I'm using, if I run out of space, like if I do more than 1 section in a day, I have so many pages left. I can make another one of these trackers later in the month if I end up needing it. I just wanted this to be able to, at the top, I want to put the character's corresponding color, their name obviously, and then the number of the section I'm working on. And then in here is going to go like the notes of what I'm working on, like, oh, I'm outlining this right now. And then maybe how many words I wrote at the bottom, stuff like that. So that's what this tracker is for. And then the other one I have that's new to me this year, I've been doing NaNoWriMo for 5 or 6 years now. So this one's new, but I've seen Kate Kavanaugh do it before, and she's the one who really kind of got me into writing and making a YouTube channel about writing. I want to make a NaNoWriMo granny square. Originally, it was every 1,000 words I would make a round of the granny square, but as you can see, even I don't remember how many rounds this is. I think this is 12. Even 12 rounds is going to be kind of big. So it's going to be every 1,000 words I write, I'm going to do 1 side of the granny square. This kind of doesn't show it that well, but it's going to be 1 side of the granny square. This has enough room for 52,000 words, which is probably how far I'll get. But I did set the ambitious goal of 100,000. So if I need another one of these, I can make another one later in the month with more numbers on it. So there's that. And then the last thing is going to be in my weekly spreads. I'm going to be really planning out everything I'm going to be doing for the day for writing. Like, oh, I'm going to outline this section and, you know, then I need to write it, or I'm going to do this part, and then, that, you know, I'm going to plan everything and then plan out my whole day, and hopefully I can spend most of my day working on writing, but life happens. You can't always spend the whole day, so I do want to at least spend like a few hours. Maybe in the morning I'll usually try to write when nobody's awake and it's very quiet and I can have, you know, kind of the house to myself or the office to myself, and no one's going to ask me to do something. So the weeklies this month, they look a little bit different than October, because October's were just the number day, and then I just kind of wrote what was going on in that day or what I needed to get done, and it looks like I have 4 to 5 bullet points per day, so having 4 pages is plenty for me. So then moving on to here, I'll be able to plan what I need to do for the last 2 days of October, because I messed up and that said Monday. It was supposed to say Wednesday for October 1st. But the last 2 days of October, I'll be able to plan out and get as much done as I can. And then November will continue on with however many pages it ends up needing, because, like I said, I have a lot of pages left, so I want to fill them up and use them as much as I can. But I think writing out everything and then having all these different spreads that I have, I think having all of them will definitely help me stay on track with what I want to get done for NaNoWriMo. So let me know down in the comments what spreads help you out, or like what kind of note-taking you do, or do you track anything kind of like I am? Or do you just kind of let it happen and see what happens? Do you write a new novel every month? Or not every month, every NaNoWriMo? You know, stuff like that. Definitely let me know in the comments and what your plans are for NaNoWriMo. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.